The eurozone's recession has been far worse than the one experienced in the United States in 2020, and unless larger efforts follow the steps taken last year, Europe's prospects look grim, a historian has claimed. The EU has a target of vaccinating at least 70% of the adult population in each member state by the end of the summer, but this objective is at risk. So far, Europe has approved 2 vaccines, one from Pfizer Inc. and BioNTech SE and another from Moderna Inc., but their supply is insufficient. Meanwhile, AstraZeneca, whose shot is set for approval by the European Medical Agency this week, said it will deliver 50 million fewer doses to the EU than it had expected. The bloc has only managed to administer about 8.9 million doses in total, about 2 for every 100 citizens. On the other hand, the US and the UK are running at 7 and 10.5 respectively, while Israel is at 43. Since all vaccines that have been approved so far require 2 jabs to work to full efficiency, it appears to be a very steep mountain to climb to get the EU's program back on track. Political commentators believe the consequences of this failure could be disastrous if they are not addressed quickly. The head of Oxford-based think tank Euro Intelligence Wolfgang Munchau claimed that with its disastrous vaccine procurement policy, the EU committed the ultimate mistake: it has given people a rational reason to oppose European integration. In a recent column, though, professor of history at Columbia University and financial commentator Adam Tooze argued the economic consequences of the pandemic pose a much greater risk. He wrote, "Since last summer a bubble of complacency has surrounded the European Union's recovery package and the vision it holds out of a greener future. Europe's constructive response to the crisis contrasts pleasingly with the dark political drama played out on the other side of the Atlantic. But 2021 may bring disillusionment, as the frailty of Europe's economic position is once again exposed." Professor Tooze claimed that by virtually every measure, the recession in Europe in 2020 was far worse than that suffered by the US and the policy response less adequate. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, in 2020 euro area gross domestic product fell by 7.6%. Far worse than the setback suffered in 2008-09 or the worst years of the eurozone crisis, and also far worse than the US, where GDP contracted by 3.5% in 2020. The historian continued, while Brussels was fading the recovery fund, gross fixed capital formation in the euro area fell by more than 10%, compared with only 1.7% in the US. To put that in round figures, the European Commission estimates that the shortfall in private investment will come to €831 billion in 2020 and 2021, greater than the offsetting recovery package. It should be particularly concerning that investment slumped most severely in southern Europe, which has been suffering chronically low investment since 2010.